Hi, I'm Lone Candle. On January 6th, 2021, a group of Trump supporters stormed the United States Capitol building while a joint session of Congress was meeting. This joint session was debating their confirmation of who won the 2020 election. These Trump supporters came from a rally led by the current president of the United States, Donald Trump. The expressed purpose of this event was to rally against the Congress, confirming the legitimate winner of the U.S. presidential election, Joe Biden. During his speech at said rally, President Trump repeatedly and falsely claimed that he won the election and that the official outcome was fraudulent. He then said his supporters should walk to the Capitol. These supporters overran Capitol Police and temporarily took over the building, interrupting the joint session of Congress and causing the representatives, senators, and vice president to flee. This delayed the confirmation of Biden as president. So, the sitting president rallied supporters in an effort to change the legitimate outcome of an election, claiming the election was fraudulent and that the rightful winner, himself, was being robbed. This means he asserted that U.S. democracy was being overturned. In the traditions of this country, if democracy is under threat by foreign or domestic forces, violence is justified. Thus, the sitting president justified violence against Congress, then told his strongly believing supporters to go to Congress, directly inciting their violent, illegal, and undemocratic actions. I don't know if the president intended this or if he's just guilty of negligence. Either way, a sitting president falsely claiming that he won an election and causing a mob of people to overrun Congress while they are confirming that that president lost the election is an attack on the prestige and stability of the nation, as well as democracy. President Trump didn't just incite the crowd in this very instance, but he built up false beliefs among his supporters since before he was elected. He exaggerated the weaknesses of alternative sources of information so that when those sources spoke negative truths about him, those truths would be dismissed. Before both his general elections, he stated suspicions of fraud and suggested that he may not accept the outcome. After this election, he repeatedly claimed he won and did everything in his power to challenge the election's outcome. These claims have been evaluated by state-level officials, many of whom were of the president's party, election watchers from both parties, journalists, and many judges who heard the arguments of those claiming election problems. All non-conspiratorial indications are that the election was legitimate and done right. Thus, either by some psychologically interesting mistake or straight-up lies, President Trump convinced much of the country of false claims about the election and made many others suspicious where suspicion was not warranted. Many in the media and the Republican Party encouraged such suspicions and beliefs, spreading the false idea that an election may be crucially flawed is incredibly dangerous for democracy. Every media member and politician who did so is part of the causal train that led to the fall of the Capitol building and the interrupting of democracy. The gross irresponsibility shows how unethical and foolish many of our leaders and pundits are. But not only they are to blame. You share the blame yourself. Every American, clouded by bias, whether ideological, partisan, or of some other nature, believed and communicated false or misleading things about politics or this president. That you would mistakenly buy what is not supported by evidence and logic is a dereliction of your duty as a citizen. By adding to the atmosphere support for such bullshit, you encouraged leaders and impassioned fools to take the actions they did. You failed to think critically about your beliefs and added support to the enemies of democracy. They have stronger convictions because you and others believed the web of lies and falsehoods. While those who believed in or suspected without merit a crucially faulty election share the most blame, even those opposed to President Trump are guilty. People of all partisan and ideological inclinations unwisely believed and communicated false or misleading notions. Such obvious bullshit from one political side only reinforces the convictions of the other, facilitating the culmination of a president attempting to stay in office despite losing an election, and unethical actions based on false beliefs. Don't blame the fools in the media. Don't blame Mark Zuckerberg. Don't blame politicians or the misguided people on the other side. Blame yourself. A pox on all of you. Democracy is only as strong as its weakest link. And its weakest link is you, the people. Now, to be human is to err. We are all human. The light is dark, but it is not extinguished. Our only chance in moving forward in peace and prosperity is to calm the fuck down. Open our minds a little bit and step forward, making sure that our contribution to the light of truth is a bright one rather than a dark one. I'm Lone Candle. Like me, comment me, love me.